Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Maggie Yu, an integrative physician, and we have a program online that transforms autoimmune disease naturally. And what I would love for you to do is anybody that's watching right now, go ahead and tell us in the comments section where you're watching from. If you know anyone that has autoimmune disease that could benefit from watching this video, go ahead and put their name in the comments and let them know you're watching, and they could always watch later. Today, we have a guest. Barbara just finished our program literally this week, and she's here to talk about her journey. And Barbara, let's have you introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Barbara Shank, and I live in Southern Michigan. I am a wife of 34 years. I have 3 children, 2 grandchildren. I teach choir at a middle school here in Southern Michigan, and I had been struggling for a long time with a lot of issues, and so I found you guys online, and that's my story right there. Let's start.
Barbara, did you have a diagnosis, or what were your diagnoses that you were diagnosed with, if any?
Yeah, I've had a lot of things. I was diagnosed with celiac about 15, 16 years ago. Fibromyalgia before then, the RA marker, Raynaud's hit me probably 8 years ago. Had burning my mouth all the time, brain fog, fast heart rate, hair loss, a lot of gut pain, and I didn't know until a little later, actually until your program, but I have a vocal cord dysfunction, and being a singer and a teacher, that is devastating because I could tell everybody how to sing, but I wasn't able to do it as much anymore because my vocal folds would fold on me and not allow me to sing.
So how long were you finding that you were losing your voice?
Oh, it's been probably 20 years.
So in the past 20 years, while being a choir teacher and a vocal coach, you were secretly, silently losing your voice.
Yeah, struggling all the time, crying a lot. I would try to explain to my students, I can tell you how to do this, I can give you short samples, I just can't do anything for a long time.
Did you feel like, it was interesting how you found out that your vocal cord dysfunction was related to autoimmune. Do you want to tell a story? Because this is fascinating to me.
Yeah, one day Elsa tagged me in a post.
Elsa works with us.
Yes, and Elsa had spoken with me at the very beginning when I called and we talked, and she just tagged me in a post and said, well, maybe Barbara knows a little bit about this whole thing with singing and vocal cord dysfunction, just putting in a little thing, maybe she can chime in a little bit here. And my response was, you mean vocal cord dysfunction is an autoimmune issue, or it can be?
No. You didn't even know.
And that was like week 5 of the program. So I had been in the program for that 5 weeks, and I think it was about week 5 that I got that message.
And you've been treated like crazy for 20 years for this. Did any of your providers know that vocal cord dysfunction can be a result of autoimmunity?
No one ever mentioned it. Never. I mean, not even a slight mention in anything.
So I think for those of you who are watching right now, if you've had these mystery symptoms that you know somehow are connected, and yet people keep dismissing you or keep telling you they're just all these different problems, and you feel like you're a walking mess of 20, 30 symptoms and no one knows what to do with you. This is, I mean, Barbara, this was your story. You had all these mysterious illness symptoms.
Yeah.
You got a couple diagnoses, but then vocal cord dysfunction was just another thing out there that you had no clue that was autoimmune related.
Yeah, absolutely true. In fact, my Raynaud's, they maybe attributed a little bit to why my voice wasn't working. Because it was like wigging my ear out. It was like I was in a vacuum all the time, and it was hitting this nerve and coming down into my neck. And so sent me to a couple different doctors. It was actually a dentist who said, you know, I think you might have this thing called Raynaud's, and you know, sent me for a hearing test and all of those things. But even with all of those things crossing, nothing ever connected with autoimmune.
So Barbara, personally, I'm just going to let you know, this whole Raynaud's of the arteries going to the ears is what I have as well.
It's awful, isn't it?
I love to sing. And
you're good.
No, I'm not. Not like you. No, I'm a shower singer, but I noticed that several years ago, I love to sing and I started actually taking singing lessons. And I noticed that my ears kept like doing this almost popping thing, but it doesn't pop, making it impossible for me to really hear my own voice.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't sing.
Right.
I was always a little off because I was struggling with that thing. And it's related with blood flow to that area.
It is.
That's what Raynaud's is. Raynaud's is an autoimmune related spasming of the blood vessels.
Wow.
Okay.
Putting it all together.
Right. So what happened with your voice during the program?
Well, I actually, when Elsa said that, and tagged me, and I came into a mastermind call, and I was like, Dr. Maggie, can you tell me? And you're like, yeah. But from the time Elsa had mentioned it, I think it was like on a Wednesday to our mastermind call the next Tuesday, I started singing. And all of a sudden I was realizing, it's very frightening. I don't know how else to say it for anybody, but for a singer, it would literally feel like my throat would shut on me. The vocal folds would fold, and my voice would stop. I couldn't go up high. I could sing high quickly. I just couldn't sustain anything. And so I started singing that week. And I remember coming out to my husband and I said, oh my gosh, Jim, I'm singing. I mean, I'm really singing. My voice is it sounding a little stronger? And he said, actually it is. And even today, as we were traveling around singing in the car, I sang a song that I tried to sing many times with one of my favorite singers, and I just flitted up to that note, and he just kind of looked at me and he said, well, that was easy. And I was like, yes, it was.
Well, so this is amazing, because here's the thing. I mean, I see vocal cord dysfunction get better all the freaking time, because what I do is, in our program, we help people stop and turn around the autoimmune attack that's causing the problem in the first place.
Yes.
So it doesn't scare me, because for me, I know that working with each person to identify what their cause and effect is, it's going to help all the targets. Right. So it doesn't matter if you have numb feet, if you don't have your voice, or you have fatigue, or you have no libido. They're all targets of autoimmune attack, because once you have one target of autoimmune attack, what's the likelihood your immune system is going to mistake many other parts as other targets of autoimmune attack? 100%. Right. There are no mystery illnesses when people truly, like myself, understand that these are all just other areas of autoimmune attack. And to me, rather than chasing it like whack-a-mole, why aren't we just figuring out what the root cause is and then getting all the attack off the targets, right?
Absolutely.
So what you're saying is your voice is getting better.
It is. It is. And I'm singing joyfully now.
You posted actually recently a video of you singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Yes.
And you know, I have a motto, which is,
it's not real until you post it.
You're brave enough and you posted it.
I really believe getting rid of that food I should not have.
Well, here's the thing. Actually, food has multiple mechanisms with vocal cord dysfunction. What I personally have noticed is that a lot of times people don't recognize that the mucosal membranes around your throat, back of your nose, your ears, actually is really responsive to allergens, right? Yes. And you know, allergy season, your voice can change, but why don't people think that food as an allergy can cause those changes in voice, but also in autoimmunity, right? And what I love about it is that we use a unique process called food mapping, where we actually test your blood to identify which are the foods that are triggering the autoimmune attack. So I want to ask, how helpful was the data in that process compared to what you've done the last 20 years when it comes to food?
It was amazing. Number one, because I had been celiac, I had not had wheat for a long time, while I had been substituting almond. So for me, I found out almond I was like really allergic to, and I had no idea. And then it was kind of a aha moment when all of my milk, the casein, the whey, all of that was. It was not that it was super high, it's just that it was all up. So I've taken that out, and it's amazing.
that's part of our food mapping process. This is the whole point, is that we actually have data to show you exactly which foods you should remove based on data, not some random elimination diet that's personalized to generalized to everyone, but personalized to no one. So you got data, and then you actually remove, and then I call that clearing the waters out for like 6 to 8 weeks. And then you methodically, scientifically reintroduce and see what the reaction is to actually then get data based on your body's reaction to it as well. So that it's not like every single thing that you have a problem with is equal weight. So you can actually assess how much weight you can actually give to each item. And it's not necessarily by how high the bar is on the testing.
Right.
So Barbara, what else got better?
Oh, my joints, my overall pain. My hands were always swollen. My joints. I mean, I definitely have some arthritis symptoms in some of my joints and my knees. It wasn't just neurological. It was that autoimmune attack on all my joints. And so that has been amazing for me.
So that's one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of people make with celiac, is they think that celiac is one target, one disease, and all you need to do is remove the gluten and you're cured.
Right.
And you know that's bullshit.
I sure do now.
I know some of your students are watching. I said it, you didn't. What people failed to realize was that, you know how many celiacs that I've seen that have chronic pain syndrome, that are neurological, that people just call neurological pain. Well, what does that mean? Well, do you know that if you actually were to actually look at, we diagnosed celiac first as a gut problem because that's the original doctors diagnosed it through gut biopsy. But I think if we actually look at the number of people with neurological pain syndromes, and we're able to do like nerve biopsies and all that, we would be now looking at celiac disease as a neurological disease, not a gut disease. It just so happens that we discovered it in the gut first. Everything thinks is limited to the gut when it has tons to do with your nerves and your joints. So for those of you who are watching right now, please give Barbara a big heart and a thumbs up. This is not easy. She's kind of actually not into this whole being out there in the public eye on video, talking about all this stuff and singing and all this. So if you can give her a heart and a thumbs up. If you think anyone could benefit from sharing this video, put their name in the comment right now. That'd be wonderful. And tell me where you're watching from. That'd be great. And put your own questions down in the comment section, because Barbara, myself, and our team will be watching some of these questions and try to answer some of those underneath the comment section. So let's talk about mommy guilt here, because you know I know this and I've talked about this.
Yeah.
Because we are not the only one paying the price for our sickness.
Right. Oh, our family is.
Not turning our autoimmunity around affects who's paying the price. It's not just us. What you just noticed is our children, and my children paid the price. Mm-hmm. And I just did a podcast where I talked about my own story and how many years it took me to figure out it's autoimmune, and then how long it took me to turn it around, and how much time, money, and effort it took me to figure all this stuff out. Right. And look at the whole process. It was 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
And when you say like mommy guilt about like having wasted 10 years of their life, I totally get it, right?
Yeah.
So that's why for me, like the sooner and faster you could turn this around for yourself. Yeah. If it took me 10 years and it could take you 2 months, what would you pick?
Yeah, 2 months. This has been the best 2 months. I'm so thankful.
But that's the thing, is there's actually a hack. Meaning there's literally, this program exists because I took the damn 10 years.
And that was hard.
It exists because they paid the price, and I paid the price already. And I don't, personally for me, that is why I put this into an online program, because honestly, we got results on an online setting because it was based on data and education, the group education. I'm educating you guys as a group, made the learning so much bigger, faster, and the results so much better and easier for you guys to attain. Tell me about your experience of working in a group setting like this versus one-on-one with doctors for the last 20 years.
Okay, I love the group. For anybody who would decide to come in, when you come in, that first week is amazing. You're sitting there and you're listening to everybody talk, and you understand about this much. But I'm an educator, and you know, and as I was getting my master's in education, I remember there were many times I sat through many lectures, and I would just think, if I could just keep listening a little longer, something's going to click. And that's what happened. Everybody they were giving answers to you. You were throwing out a question, and in the chat would come all these answers, and people knew what it was. And I'm like, how do they know that? I mean, I don't have a clue.
Because they're being taught.
Yeah, and they were being taught. And then as the next few, like in week 3 and 4, like light bulbs all over the place. And I was like, oh my gosh, I get this. I understand it. And I had to study. In fact, I kept going a week ahead, and I was trying to almost go 2 weeks ahead. And I had to start telling myself, Barb, slow down, digest what you're learning in these weeks. I'll let you get a week ahead, but you're not going 2 weeks. So and I would study it again, and I would listen again. I would go back and listen to our mastermind calls, because that's where so much information was. It is exhilarating, because I was finding out what was not only matter with me, but when I heard about the PCOS and I was understanding my daughter, and then when I was listening to Hashimoto's and found out that's probably what my husband has. And then I'm listening to things about autism, and our son has high functioning autism. Brilliant. And all these things just coming at me, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so thankful I get to learn this. And I'm excited because I'm going to go see a new doctor, and I'm going in armed with knowledge and understanding, and I'm ready to say, I need you to partner with me in what I know so I can move forward. Yeah. I'm excited about that.
Well, that's the thing is, I think that by not having an educational format around health in the greatest fight of our life, we're actually just teaching patients and doctors learned helplessness. Literally, just like accept the pill that's being thrown at you, accept doctors shrugging their shoulder. I mean, how many of you watching right now have gone through this for 20 years like Barbara has, with doctors shrugging their shoulders? Why isn't this working? Why isn't that working? You're asking about hormones. You're asking about food. And they're like, well, if you really want to try it, go ahead. No data, no education, no connections made on any of this stuff. It's literally right now in autoimmune disease, the blind leading the blind. And who's suffering as a result of this?
We are. And, you know, I cannot tell you how many times I heard, well, now I really don't have a crystal ball. I can't see that. Or, well, if anything was really going to be odd, I guess it's just going to happen to you. The crystal ball reference and feeling as though I was odd, the biggest blessing I ever had was being part of a group that I was normal.
I have some questions for you. This is a quick, we're going to, a section I call Soul to Soul. I'm just going to have a couple questions, okay? Through this whole process, like before you joined our program, what was your greatest fear?
I was going to die like my mom. You know, I just lost her in January, and it was painful to watch doctors saying autoimmune, 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 and nothing, there was no help. You know, we just watched her die.
What did she pass away from?
Well, heart, type 1 diabetes, thyroid issues. I am sure she had celiacs.
Right.
And
so if you think about it, like your mom was a huge warning for you.
Oh, frightening and sad because I couldn't fix it. And like I said, I'm a fixer, and there's nothing I could do. And I tried really hard. So.
Okay. So super powerful, Barbara. I mean, your mom taught you through being a warning.
Yes.
And you say you were the biggest warning to your children.
Yes.
What do you know?
I hope I'm an inspiration. I hope that they see it and they say, Mom is getting healthy. So what are we going to do to make sure that we're changing not only our individual lives, but our children's lives, and therefore then our grandchildren's lives, and that we stop this autoimmune. And it may mean that we can't eat some foods and we can't do some stuff, but it also means figuring out all of our hormones, and it means figuring out what we're lacking in our vitamins and all of that. And so we have to take it on and do it.
That being said, I mean, do you feel like it's just all removing more and more foods, or were you able to add a whole bunch of other food back in?
Oh, I have so many foods I can eat. I mean, it's actually really cool. And there were a lot of things I was staying away from, but some of the very foods that I thought were the safest were my danger foods, and I had to get rid of them. And so it took me, it's taken me a while to just get it all figured out. But now we're gonna travel to see our younger daughter in Alabama, and I was talking to her last night, and I said, now Kelsey, you and Graham love to cook. And I said, and so we're gonna pull out some of these foods and some of these recipes I've learned, and we're gonna go to town and we are gonna make some recipes. Awesome. And with some things I haven't even eaten. And so I'm really excited to try some.
Adding more and more foods, getting joy back in the kitchen, and to get family just experimenting with food again, like with a new vigor, new love, and data.
Right, data. It just drives everything.
I love it. For people who don't know anything about our program, like you, before you learned about our program, what would you say is the easiest way that they can get things started to learn more about how, this whole process, this whole program? What's the easiest thing they can do that they can learn the most with?
Send a message to the team and ask them to call you. Mm-hmm. I understand it's a little bit frightening. Jim and I sat there and we spent a lot of time talking about, is this going to be the right thing? And it's not only been the right thing, it's given me my voice back. I mean, I'm a person, I love to sing. I'm a singer. I haven't been able to do it. I have found my joy again. And I would say, make a call, talk to Elsa or whoever else that there might be, but do this for you. Do this for you if you are suffering. I think that was me. I felt guilty, Maggie. I remember looking at Jim and I said, I feel guilty that I am doing this for me. And you know what I've learned over the last 8 to 9 weeks is that when I feel better, my family feels better. And so it seems selfish, but it's actually the exact opposite. It's the best thing you can do for everybody around you.
Wow, that was really powerful. And those of you who are watching right now, please give Barbara a big old thumbs up, wow face. Anybody in the alumni that are watching, please go ahead and listen to the comments that you're an alumni and what your experience has been in the program. Many of you watch Barbara go through this transformation. So please say hi to Barbara below and talk about what you witnessed. Barbara's a real person.
I am. And by the way, my hair is growing back. I have eyelashes, Maggie. I haven't had eyelashes in years. I mean, I was able to put mascara on real eyelashes.
Barbara, people don't think once they've experienced severe hair loss or lost eyelashes that can come back. Were those outcomes you were even looking for?
No. In fact, today when I was trying to get a little gussied up and do my hair and stuff, I was like, oh, I'd like to put on mascara, but I never have any eyelashes. And I leaned forward and I was like, wait a minute.
All right,
those are eyelashes. Look at that. I mean, I have eyelashes.
Glasses up. I want to see.
Okay, ready? Here we go.
Woo!
I mean, I can never, I usually have like, maybe 10 or 15 eyelashes, and I actually have several and they're getting long. I'm like, woohoo. So
thank you, Barbara.
It's such a joy. Thank you, Dr. Maggie. You are a blessing to me and our entire family, and Mary and Jackie and Elsa and just everybody on the team. It's just, you've changed my life, and I really want to thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Thanks a lot. And for those of you who want to learn more about our program, you can go to drmaggie.com and watch our free training. And you can also book a call with our team. The best thing to do is to reach out to us by booking a call with us, and so we can learn more about you to figure out if this is the right fit or not. Thank you, Barbara, for joining us. And
Thanks.
Everybody who's watching, please give her a thumbs up and share this with anyone who can benefit from it. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye.
Lupus, lung fibrosis,
Hashimoto's thyroiditis,
fibromyalgia, AS, which is a form of arthritis,
Epstein-Barr, extremely fatigued.
pretty much zero joint pain.
Much more happy.
I don't have brain fog anymore.
How much weight I have lost.
I want to see remission.
Maggie and her approach is very different than the traditional doctor.
I'm a totally different person.
I got a better understanding of what those intolerances were.
You're not alone.
The community is, I'm learning from everyone else's issues.
It's not just helped me, it's helped my entire family.
We are transformed.
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 Join the movement and transform your autoimmune naturally today.